Okay, verse 18. When Jesus saw the crowd around him, he gave orders to cross to the other side of the lake. Then a teacher of the law came to him and said, "Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go." Jesus replied, "Foxes have dens and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." Another disciple said to him, "Lord, first let me go and bury my father." But Jesus told him, "Follow me and let the dead bury their own dead." Okay, now there's no miracle here. Starts out and it says, when Jesus saw the crowd around him, he gave orders to cross to the other side. Why do you think Jesus was trying to get away from the crowds? Okay, maybe he wanted quiet to pray. Maybe he was just exhausted. Needed to get away, get a break. So he gives orders to cross to the other side of the lake, and they're getting ready to go. All right? And two people approach Jesus. But they want to follow Jesus on their terms. Okay? They want to follow Jesus on their terms, not his terms. Do you think that happens today? And if so, can you give some examples? There are people who say, "I want Jesus in my life. I want him here. I want him here. I want him here." Don't expect me to change that. Right? I'm not going to obey that. Yeah. And so they want to follow Jesus on their terms and not on his terms. And look at how Jesus responds to this. So the first man says he will follow Jesus, and Jesus tells him, "It's not cushy or comfortable to follow me." He says, "Foxes have dens, birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay down his head." So this isn't going to be fun. This isn't necessarily going to be comfortable. So don't follow me if you're not serious about it. You're not all in. Second man says that he'll follow Jesus, but only after his father dies. And Jesus says something that sounds kind of cold, but Jesus tells him, "Let the dead bury the dead." And what that means is, let the world deal with worldly things. Okay? In other words, Jesus is telling these two, and he's telling us, if I'm not going to be your first priority, then you aren't ready to follow. And you think of the rich young ruler who came to Jesus. What must I do to be saved? Well, you got to sell everything you have and give it to the poor. Okay? Jesus knew the guy's hesitancy, and that's where he hit him. And I think sometimes in trying to bring people to Christ, individual Christians and sometimes churches make it easier than Jesus did. They make it easier than Jesus did. Jesus said, "Only come if you really mean it." Let's not play games here. Only come if you really mean it. Because Jesus says, I'm not about the numbers. He says, it doesn't matter to me if 2 people follow me this month or 2,000 people follow me this month. I'm about the depth of commitment. I'd rather have 2 people at a deep commitment than 2,000 people at a commitment.